Hello and welcome to The Hero's Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have Dustin. Dustin has a bomb drop of March 1st, 2024 and a date of marriage of 2007. He is not familiar with contact type or energy levels, but I can tell you he's a clinging boomerang and a high energy replayer from what you've said. He says, my wife moved out on April 1st, 2024. Notice March 1st was the bomb drop, so March to April. Okay, so 1 month. And we signed our separation agreement on November 12th of 2024. She started seeing someone online in September of 2024. He lives 3 hours away from us. They didn't see each other in person until October 2024. They got engaged over the week of Thanksgiving. So separation agreement November. The week of Thanksgiving was 2 or 3 weeks right after that. And they are engaged. Okay. Our 12-year-old daughter had not met him yet. She doesn't seem to care about the emotional damage it's causing our daughter. Our daughter has expressed how it makes her feel. Good for her. I like how you say that. She has expressed her feelings. Good. And she tells her, and so her mom says, aren't I allowed to be happy? She goes to his house and stays when our daughter is with me. I am glad that she does it when your daughter's not there. At least she keeps it that way for now. My daughter feels like this guy and his 2 kids are replacing her. Yeah, I bet. Is it normal for someone going through a midlife crisis to get engaged after only knowing someone for 2 to 3 months? So that general question, it's just about how fast is it normal that they jump right into marriage? Here's what I think about that. It's not a spectrum thing about midlife crisis, but some people jump quickly to marriage after meeting a person. I mean, there are people that have, you meet them and then they get married, they start dating, and they're married 6 months later. And some people, they start dating and they date for 2 years and they get engaged, and then they are engaged for a year, and then they get married. So they're 3 years from the time they either knew each other before, or they just met, started dating, that sort of thing. That is the at least recommendation. It's not so that you just get to know each other, but you get through the limerence and that. But I don't think it's so much as a midlife thing as some people are fast. And why is the question? Is her why right now due to her crisis in midlife? I don't know. It's not necessarily a midlife thing. We see it happen outside of midlife. I don't seem to see it happen anymore within our infidelity issues in midlife than I do outside. It's just not a big thing that happens. What is a big thing happens that everything else happens. It's just not the marriage. They will meet someone and 2 weeks later, they move in with them. They're not married. They're not divorcing. They're not trying to marry, but they might be calling each other their spouses. They just don't have the paper. What is not odd, I mean, it's odd outside of midlife crisis. What is disgusting to me, though, is to be engaged before you're divorced. It's just like, seriously, come on. When you are still married, you can't be engaged. It's my personal thought, I'm sure many of you share that. And unless you have been unless it's one of those separations that's been going on for 10 years or something, to be engaged, and this clearly isn't, you just barely got separated, you just met him, and then you're suddenly engaged. And is he pushing for it or is she pushing for it? Who knows? But your wife, is behaving normally for midlife crisis. And what I mean by that is, aren't I allowed to be happy? So it's all about her. She is dismissing your daughter's feelings. So I really want you to do everything you can to protect your daughter. I am glad that she has still not introduced her, or it sounds like she hasn't introduced her, but even if she has, she's not taking her for overnights. When she goes there, she makes sure your daughter isn't there, is with you. And that's good. There needs to be, if you can get it put into the legal paperwork, there needs to be a transition period before they meet, before your daughter is introduced to him and to his family, the children, or anything like that. And that doesn't mean she'll be adjusted or anything like that, but it's just, she needs to be given a little more time. A lot more time would be nice. And sometimes you have no control of it, and the courts won't do anything, but some will. And so if you can put it in there that, she needs 6 more months, and then months after this or whatever. Some will say 3 months. I know it's not long. So I want to make sure that your daughter's in therapy if you can get her in. And if your wife says, oh, she doesn't need it, who cares? You get her in. She needs it. Your daughter is at that age of just starting puberty, and hormonal and all of these other things are erupting as well. She's in a perfect storm. She doesn't need this. She didn't need it at 8. She didn't need it at 2. She doesn't need it now. And your wife is going to use the kids are resilient excuse. And unfortunately, they aren't as resilient as we think. Because people are resilient if they have low trauma, if they have a low trauma background. And there are probably different levels of natural resilience people have, but that can be built up or eroded based on our trauma backgrounds, based on what has happened to us, especially in our formative years. And so at least your daughter has had up till 12, because they say the most pieces where it can really affect you for the chaos kid are 0 to 10. She's gotten past 10, so she has a good, stable foundation from there. But now she hits puberty, and bam, just when she needs her mom the most, mom decides whatever, I need my happiness. It's about me. And it's even worse, not just aren't I allowed to be happy? What does this have to do with you being happy? Here's where people aren't allowed to be happy. When your happiness is something that destroys others, causes others and other systems to be distressed and destroyed, then no, you shouldn't be allowed that. Choose another happiness, lady. And that's what's happening is she is doing a happiness that is directly responsible. I don't mean indirectly. I don't mean like somebody did something, choosing the lesser of two evils, say, and somebody got hurt. Sometimes we choose something and somebody gets hurt. Sometimes you do need it to divorce, and people are still going to get hurt, and you still make the right choice. Maybe it's an abusive relationship. Maybe the spouse is an addict and you have to get away for your safety, for the children's safety, for your sanity, maybe for your spouses, because you can see that the only way that they're really going to figure themselves out. But that doesn't mean that they aren't hurt and that you're not hurting. But this isn't that. No, her actions are directly related to the destruction. So her happiness is like the gun. Seriously? No. Her happiness is the weapon. So no, in that case, when your happiness is a weapon against us, no, I don't want you allowed to be happy if that's it. Go choose another happiness. I have a problem with that. I also am not a big fan of happy. I prefer joy, because joy is something that is first not meant to be destructive, and joy recognizes that you're not always happy. You can be in grief, but have still a stability of joy underneath that. And it allows for a bad day. Whereas happiness comes from hap or happenstance. This is luck. Happenstance. Something happens. It's not really within our control. And she wants to follow the happiness train. It is okay for you or your daughter, when she says things like that, to say no. As long as you have the right response with it, so you don't sound like a selfish brat. It's like, no, not when your happiness is used as a weapon against us, and your happiness is what's causing the destruction of my family. No. No. I would love for you to choose joy, Mom. But the happiness, if this is what happiness is, then there's something wrong with you. If your happiness is destroying us. If that's what makes you happy, there's a problem. And it's, unfortunately, Dustin, I'm really sorry. It really is unfortunately that this is what MLCers do. This is what people who are in an affair do as justification. Everyone will be okay. And I deserve this. I deserve to be happy. It's my time now. I'm the one who's been giving and giving for all of the last 15 years or whatever. And so I want to do it now. Maybe some of them will admit selfishness and that I want to be selfish for a change. Well, great. Wait till your daughter's 18 to be selfish. And I'd rather she didn't do it then either. But she has a little girl that's still at home in need of her. And so she's not just leaving you, Dustin, but she's leaving a child in need. That's abandonment. And no, the law might not see it that way, and they might get 50-50 custody and everything like that. But she's not protecting her. And yeah, this guy right now probably is being a replacement. Your wife is finding a replacement family. It sucks. And she's going to say, oh, no, I love my daughter. Nobody could ever replace you. And in the long run, that is going to be true. But right now, it's not. And your wife doesn't get it. Midlife crisis people, they escape and avoid. And she is an escape and avoid. And she's going to avoid that and avoid it and avoid it and resist it the more she's told. Because she doesn't know who she is and what she is and what she needs to be doing. And all she knows is she has to leave and run. And she's just going to keep failing. And I hope she can figure some of this out. Because not all MLCers fail at the parenting aspect, but many do. Many become like this and they let their children down. They come back, but there's damage. And your job is to be the strong and stable parent for your little girl, okay? She needs you. And I know you know that. So I want you to get yourself some help so that you can get her some help. You can go to Help Together as well. You are basically a single protective Papa Bear right now. Do everything you can to protect her and make sure she has a strong and healthy relationship as much as possible with her mother. But you be there to protect her, okay? It's going to be hard, and I want you to work on your health and detachment through that so that you can be emotionally regulated and stable rather than flying off the handle. Because mama bears and papa bears, yeah, we might use the metaphor, but they can be dangerous when they go off. And I want you to be regulated. You're in court and you're going to be in control. Okay? Because you need to be there as a protector for that. It's going to be work, but you would just keep loving your daughter. Okay. I hope this